Hello, welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. Today we're going to be talking about the life behind one of the most known empresses in the world. And it's not Catherine the Great, and it's not Maria Theresa. It is Empress Sisi. Now, she is personally one of my favorites to learn about. I first came across her randomly on YouTube when it just popped into my algorithm. And I think this is not a sponsored video, FYI. But anyway, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications, and please subscribe, help a girl out. But anyway, with that being said, why don't we dive into this episode? Isn't that why you clicked on it after all? I'll try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. I know y'all can't see me, but right now I'm getting really I got sunburn coming, and I love it. I'm a ginger, so I love this. But anyway, we're gonna talk about Empress Sissy. Like I said, I'm gonna try to keep this as short and brief as possible. But anyway, where did Empress Sissy grow up and where did she live in Munich? Well, apart from her summer months, she and her family would spend most of her time in Sternberger. And Sissy would grow up to in the magnificent Herzog Max Palace at number 13 Ludwig Trask. And she was born on the corner room on the first floor on December 24th, 1837, a Christmas Eve baby, and as Elizabeth, Duchess of Bavaria, and near the birthplace of, or Elizabethstrasse, named after her in Elizabeth Markt and on Elizabeth Place. Now, who are her parents, you might ask? Well, it was Duke Max Joseph of Bavaria and Princess Ludovica Wilhelmine who in turn was the daughter of the Bavarian king Maximilian I and the aunt of the Austrian emperor. Now, Sissy was shaped by her parents who lived very unconventionally, and she was also reflective in her upbringing. So instead of embroidery or learning languages, there was usually a lot of hiking and riding going on. She loved being outdoors, she loved nature, she loved riding horses. In the aristocratic society, however, the family's loose and informal lifestyle was not always well received. So, the room. So, when did she actually leave Munich? Well, it's also important to know before I dive into this that her husband's mom, total toxic mother-in-law, did not like her. She was like, she basically controlled everything about her daughter-in-law and everything. I don't know. I can't. I don't feel she was a lot stronger woman than I give her credit for. I think many people give her credit for. Think about it, having to have a toxic mother-in-law like that. Somebody's probably gonna hate me. Well, she wasn't toxic. She was just looking out for her family. Honey, she was toxic. Now, anyway, in the summer 1853, Emperor Franz Joseph celebrated his birthday and fell in love with his cousin Sissy. And the story is that Emperor Franz Joseph was actually supposed to marry her sister Helene, who was 3.5 years older and had not been substantiated. In 1854, she would leave Munich for Vienna to marry the Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph. However, she would visit her beloved native city frequently and was particularly fond of the Bavarian beer. Now, my knee is killing me right now. But anyway, in 1897, she would become the first person to visit the new Hofbauritz Horus that was built by Max Littmann, though she was incognito, and of course, she said it was I would never leave Munich without stopping here, as she explained to her Hungarian companion. Now, as an imperial guest, Sissy first stayed at the Hotel Vier Salting, and here Dittman waved a bat swing that was available in 1889 on the Durner Sear and Relaxation, and this was a special round hot tub that could be made to swing by shifting weights, and the Empress of Austria is said to have swung the wellness device so energetically that her bathwater overflowed in the rooms below, and she was reportedly so embarrassed by the incident that she believed she only ever stayed at the hotel from then on. So, what about the time after the wedding until her death? Well, very quickly. You gotta remember, she quickly realized that her free and easygoing lifestyle was had to stop. It was shaped by the obligations of the rule of the Spanish court, and her clothes, her meals, and the devotions of in which her appointments had to attend and prescribed in detail. And after the wedding, um, less than a year after the wedding, she gave birth to her first daughter, Sophie. That was named after her toxic mother-in-law. So literally, after she had the baby, her mother-in-law took the baby and named it after herself. Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking right now. This woman has done gone cuckoo and she's still a little. But anyway, Gisela and the crown prince Rudolph followed. Now, during the journey, the two girls got a fever and diarrhea. Gisela recovered, but Sophie died, and the death of the eldest daughter came as a shock to Sissy. She increasingly distanced herself from Gisela and Rudolph and left her upbringing to her mother-in-law. So, I think you can see how that one went. And here's the thing to remember too, like from what I've read, is that she was very much into self help and all that. It's pretty much into staying thin. I think if there was a video about a possible eating disorder, I think she would have had it because of how thin she was and everything. And she raised her children to be like fat phobic, also from what I read. But anyway, the Empress would spend 2 years away from court due to a lung disease and return as a well competent woman. And she organized a daily routine, increasing her independently and devoted her time to writing poems and verses. Her extensive beauty regime in sport. Her fourth and last child, Marie Valerie, was born in Hungary in 1868, and Sissy adored the girl, and unlike her older children, a very much intimate relationship had developed. And the suicide of her son Rudolph in 1899 hit Sissy, and from then on, she wore mainly black as an expression of grief and withdrew from the public eye. She undertook many journeys and remained in contact with her husband through correspondence. So, let's talk about her assassination. Because she was assassinated. But, in 1898, she would spend a few days in Lake Geneva. It's with Lake Geneva. That's been so many. Mary Shelley's been there. That's where she got the idea for Frankenstein and everything else. Which you can go check out my Dark Academia podcast for my episode for me talking about Mary Shelley. But anyway, um she was staying in Lake Geneva for a few days. Stay at the Hotel Beau Rivage. And in the afternoon, she left the hotel for a boat trip on Lake Geneva. On her way back, in the landing stage, an Italian anarchist, Luigi, that's just fun to say, Luigi Licenti stabbed the Empress with a sharpened knife, and she lived to be 60. Now, okay, I'm gonna take a little side note real quick. Um, okay, we all know Mario was just a face, right? We all know. Luigi was really the mastermind behind all of it. We all know that. But anyway, let's get back to the episode, shall we? Because you're probably getting on your nerves for this. But, so, what castle did she live in? Well, her Schloss Prosterheften is a privately owned and can be viewed from the outside, and Sissy spent much of her youth in the castle. And there were few meetings between King Ludwig II and Elizabeth of Ramenesi, aka Rose Island, on the West Bank, and the two felt like soulmates. So, even during the engagement, Aunt Sophie tried to find fault with Sissy's appearance, though there is a famous complaint about the incorrectly brushed teeth. Franz Joseph youthfully reported that the teeth were now all white. So why does Franz Joseph sound so familiar? Which you're gonna find out in a second. Um, but the later rumor, so, but The later rumor was allegedly that bad teeth culminated by the claim of the actress Rosa Albeck Betty. Said that she deserved the Empress cleaning duties and everything. And this is certainly any malicious fairy tale. The Empress of Austria, who always took care to maintain her impeccable appearance, certainly did not clean any teeth in public. So, it is proven that Empress Elizabeth and her family were regularly underwent dental care by dentists, also from America, and spent a great deal of the money on every year. Documents from the Austrian state archives were also analyzed in detail to publish. So, now you're probably wondering why um some descendants. Well, there's Franz Joseph. Do we know why that one started? Yep, you know that one good as I do. If you know your history, you know what happened to launch World War One. Now, what do y'all think of Empress Sissy? Like I said, I try to keep this as short and sweet as possible because I know y'all all have lives and y'all don't feel like hearing me talk for like an hour or so. But anyway, that is it for this episode. You can join me next time as we talk about an urban legend in Alabama called Sally Carter's Grave. And then we're going to talk about a very famous battle that happened right here in Tennessee. Do we want to guess what it is? Do we want to guess what it is? And I will try to be as unbiased as possible with that one because I really hate Andrew Jackson. But anyway, then we'll talk about a couple of curses in the royal family. I think I have like some episodes lined up. From 37 to 48 for the next 12 after that. We will get into closer to time. Alright, y'all have a great day. Stay cool out there. I know it's hot as Hades at the moment, but I can't do anything about that.